Uh, Hello, Serena. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the session. I hope the Facebook Live is also working. Hello, Dharmik. All right, so I hope you all can see my screen. And I think without much ado, let's begin the session because this session, as you can see from the title, I've created and I've planned to take this session to discuss about the whole process of ADC, how to start, especially the ones who are considering taking the examination in the September 2025 or March 2026. So as you know, the March exam is almost around the corner. We have only 2 months to go roughly and the preparation is going full swing. But a lot of candidates have already joined me for the September preparation as well. So that's why we have opened the gates for the September preparation. The September 2025 preparation has begun, and how it takes shape is in the form of a dual program that you enroll early and then you get the benefit of doing the program twice and taking the classes twice and doing the mock examinations also multiple times and getting to see your progress over the months. So the beauty about it is that you can enroll anytime and actually start from the week one, day one of our curriculum. That's how organized the program would be. So, but when you start preparation and when you have made up your mind that you want to join the dual program, but you still also simultaneously want to understand the process of the examination, today I want to emphasize those things in the class, that what are the steps involved, especially for the part one examination, because this is where you start your process, and then the practical examination is another mountain to climb. So the first one is your part one examination, which on its own also has few steps, which is your initial assessment and then taking the examination. So in this entire class today, I'll try to keep it a 45 minute session so that it's crisp and the information is direct. All your questions, all your confusions and dilemmas are resolved. So we'll try to answer where to start, what are the resources that you must be focusing upon, and what are the techniques and the methods, especially which would be the part of the program, how they can help you crack the examination in your first attempt, or if it's your multiple attempt, then this attempt in the September should be your final attempt for the part one examination, and you should be successful with that. So we'll talk about the strategies, we'll talk about the process, the exam steps, and the key resources, basically the three important pillars to understand the examination. As you all understand, before you take the written examination, you would have to apply and get your documents approved. It is a proof of your dental degree, the undergraduate degree that you have taken in your country. So to get those documents verified, it's an assessment process. It requires you to have completed a full 4 year dental degree in your respective nation, and you must have the final degree records. So a lot of candidates might be doing internship in their respective nations and might be considering taking the exam. So for you all, you must know that you must have your final degree before you can apply for the initial assessment. So you must have that, and you must also register with your dental council. So whether it's state-wise or nation-wise, wherever you're coming from, you must have a full registration and license to practice in your country. The process would take approximately 2 months for them to verify your documents. There can be a back and forth going between the ADC and you. They might require re-uploading of certain documents if they find that they are incomplete, or if they desire more information from you. So that back and forth can take about 8 weeks or say 2 months, and usually the assessment gets completed within this time frame. So initial assessment also has its own cost other than your written examination. And the cost for the application is 647 Australian dollars, and it remains valid for the next 7 years from your date of application. So it doesn't mean that once you have applied for the assessment, you have to take the next intake of examination. You can take the examination within the 7 years while it remains valid. And you can apply to this process any time of the year. There is no specific window over which you can start your assessment process. You can apply anytime, and it would take about 2 months for ADC to assess your documentation and give you an outcome. After you have applied for the assessment, how you would do that? You would do it officially now electronically on the ADC Connect website. You will create your profile. It's an Australian Dental Council portal where you create a profile and you start uploading your documents. This is also where you would get the a link for your written examination application, and that link on has been approved and the window for the application is open, right? So first you start and select your application process by selecting your category, which is either skilled or registration or skill and registration combined. For most of the overseas dentists who do not have Australian residency or citizenship, you would require to select both skills and registration kind, right? And those who are citizen or residents, they would only require to be doing their registration process. So for majority of the overseas dentists who do not have their residency visa or do not have the citizenship, they need to fill out both skills and registration category. So this is what you need to select in your application type. And other documents that will go, they have given the complete list of the documents which would be required. What I have done in this presentation is I have added all the links for all the specific requirements by ADC. What are the list of the documents where everything has been informed to you? What are the links to the website where you create your ADC Connect profile? All the links I have attached here on this presentation. So what I'm going to do is this presentation would be added to the drive link of the free resources that I provide, which contains all the important guidelines and textbooks that you require to start your ADC preparation. That drive link is part of my monthly mentorship program, which includes all the monthly free classes, the weekly free classes that we conduct, the monthly public mocks that we conduct, the mock discussion class. Everything is included in our free monthly mentorship program. With that, you are also provided a drive link on which you have free resources. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this presentation also to the same drive link so you can access all these links directly at one place. So you're not going to be confused, right? So all the specifications, all the documents which are required, which includes your current passport, then your passport photograph, if your name change of name is there which does not match your degree and your passport, then some evidence of change of name if it applies to you, then your dental degree and your transcripts which you will obtain from your college or university where your scores of individual subjects are provided, then an internship certificate and your evidence of registration or license in your state or your country's dental council. All these documents are uploaded on your ADC Connect profile. So it's all digital now. Long ago, it used to be all paperwork, but it's all digital now. Everything has to be done online on the website. All the links I have provided here. So Transcript must include, Kirtan, all your subjects and their specific marks. There is a specific format. If you require the format, then you can message me on my WhatsApp and I can provide you some sample transcripts, how they might help. So you will be provided my WhatsApp number during the period of the class and the session today. My team will upload my WhatsApp number on the chat and you can message me. And if you require certain samples of whether it's your experience letter or whether it's your recommendation letters or your transcripts, I shall be happy to provide you the samples with that. It's either university or college, Mahi, depends whether it was your dental college which was affiliated to your university, or in some countries it could be the university which could be the provider of the program. So it depends country to country. But if it's a college in a particular university, especially if you're coming from India, we have multiple colleges under one university. In that case, your college has to provide the transcript and your this thing your registration certificate will come from your dental council. Similarly, your letter of good standing will also come from your dental council. So you must arrange for your letter of good standing, which has to be given by your state dental council when you're concerned, like if you're coming from India. And in other countries, if there is not state-wise dental council, then your nation's dental council shall provide it. And it has to be sent directly to the ADC by the state council. Either it has to be a hard copy or the soft copy, both are accepted. So this letter of good standing only remains valid for 3 months. But of course, while you're uploading all your documents on the ADC Connect, meanwhile, you can apply for the letter of good standing on your state council also. So within 2 months period of your assessment, if they are provided, once letter of good standing is reached, then all your documents are available. Then ADC provides you the confirmation and the outcome of your assessment. So this is how you will obtain the outcome, which is successful, incomplete, or unsuccessful. Usually it will remain incomplete while you're in the process. Any requirements, if ADC requires you to change certain things on your recommendation letters, your experience letters, they will always communicate with you over the email and they're quite responsive. A lot of my students have also asked me if they have ever had concerns with the documentation process. ADC is quite responsive whenever you email them or call them, especially over email. They'll always mention what they require from you. If anything has to be added on your letters or your documents, they will always inform you. So usually most of the documents are straightforward. Mostly the problems come with the transcripts. Sometimes your college also is unable to provide the exact format that the ADC requires. That is why if you need help, I shall be happy to provide you the samples. And sometimes the problem also comes with the language of the recommendation letters and experience letters, especially where in the situation the students sometimes they start, practicing in a clinic before they obtain their final degrees. If you must have seen, this happens a lot in India. I'm sure it happens in other countries as well. That sometimes you haven't obtained your final degree, you have a provisional degree after completion of your BDS or your dental program, and then you start working at a clinic, and sometimes in your experience letter, sometimes your employer adds that information, and then ADC matches the dates of your degree, and then the matches the date of your start of your jobs in the clinics. If the dates precedes your degree date, sometimes that becomes a very common objection. So I usually talk with my students and I help them that they get a new letter from their employer. Either they explain that while they had joined the clinic prior, but they were not working on the patients, or they change the language that their joining date be modified. So something has to be done like that, but it's not a big problem. I'm just giving you an examples that the challenges that you might face, and ADC might point out those things. You must explain to them your actual situation, and they're more than happy to then acknowledge it, and then move further with your application process. So there's always a solution, and they're quite responsive and helpful. So, and I also help my students during the assessment process, whatever challenges that they are facing while application, whatever formats they require. No, you do not require the format of good standing certificate. There is a standard format. Every state council, every country's dental council has it. And you have no particular specific information to provide. All you need to do is request them a letter of good standing. They already have a specific standard and a format for that. So your council would directly email or mail the document to the ADC. So if you're not working as a dentist after getting your degree, that then also you would get your recommendations either from your professors, right? So your professors would be happy to give you those recommendation letters, because even if you have not worked, you studied with them over the 4-year period when you were getting your degree, Cillian. So that's how you get the recommendation. And then you can get some recommendation from your colleagues, that where you may have just visited them or helped them in their clinic in certain case discussions. That could be one of the methods of getting the recommendation. I think a generic one would be not so professional looking, Aisha. That's why just send me a message on WhatsApp, and I'll give you certain examples and samples. You can see those language. Although yes, some language that you obtain on the Google, you can modify it. Those also work, but it should still be personalized and reflect what you have really professionally done so far, Aisha, right? So have a little bit of personalization still, even if you're getting a sample format as a generic format from internet or chat GPT, but still personalize it a bit, because everyone has their unique story still. So definitely, I'm sure all your colleagues would have great things to say about you. So once you've gotten the outcome of your initial assessment process, after getting over all the challenges, which I just told you are easily manageable. So first of all, get that, roadblock outside, that it's a hard step or it requires a lot. Yes, it does require a lot of due diligence from your side, that you're making sure all the documents are in correct format and are timely uploaded, but still it's all manageable, and we always support all our students during the entire initial assessment process, because a lot of candidates, they join me even before they have started their assessment process. So we always hold your hands, and every day any question that you have, we'll always be helping you in our best capacity, that what next you should be doing, or what kind of format you may be requiring. So once your outcome is there, you apply for the written examination. ADC will provide you the link to apply for the written examination during that window. So for the September 2025, that window is coming on the 3rd to 10th June. So that is why your assessment must be applied by the 2nd April 2025, right? So you must create an ADC Connect profile, and you must finish uploading all the documents. Initial assessment deadline means all the documents must be uploaded. It should be complete. It should not be incomplete by 2nd April. Outcome is still, they can still give you an outcome after 2nd April, right? But must be before the 3rd June, definitely. But the process of uploading the documents must be completed by 2nd April. So if it's Jan end, so you have entire February, March, 2 months period to get your documents. If you are in any other part of the world and you're not in your country, and you have to get all the documents, especially the transcripts from your college, because that takes some time. And with your colleagues, if you're not in the same city where you used to work, so all those, procuring all the documents, you have plenty of time, right? Yes, good standing certificate only has 3 months validity, and that's why you must do it and apply it once you have procured other documents. So get your transcripts, get your experience letter, recommendations, because passport and degree, everything is with you. The outside and external factors are with your your experience, your recommendations, and your college transcripts. And then comes your letter of good standing, your registration, your degrees, your passport, everything is your factor. You have it. So get the external factors, which is this transcript, recommendations, and experience letter. Once you have procured all that, upload it, apply for the letter of good standing, and then everything gets there together. Your status is complete. Eventually, your status would be successful. Then, from the 3rd June, the window will open and the link will show up for the application that you're eligible, and the period is open, and the link will show up under your ADC Connect profile. And then you can pay, fill up the application form, and fees it has to be added. The cost is 2,122 Australian dollars. That's how you complete your written application. And the examination this year for the September examination would be on the 2nd and the 3rd of the September. So usually the March intake here, this time examination is on the 18th, and the September intake would be quite early in the first week of the September, which would be on the 2nd and the 3rd September. Once you have done the application of the written process, then you would get your booking for the written examination email by the Pearson VUE. So the centers for ADC examination are managed by Pearson VUE. They will send you that you are now valid and you are now authorized to take the written test. Once you receive that authorization to test email, along with that, they will also provide you an information that when your booking period will open. Once the booking period opens, because written application is 3rd to 10th June, after everyone has applied, then the Pearson emails you about the booking period. In the booking period, you must be very swift and book your choice of venues. Although the venues are all over the world, in some circumstances, your venue may get filled up before you get an opportunity. But then again, do not fret. Mentally, also be prepared if you have to travel to another city, to another state, and sometimes for some candidates, they might also have to travel to another country, which is all fine. This is all part of process. The more you accept that this is part of process, the less anxiety you would develop and the less stress you would take about the situation. Yes, most of the candidates do get their desired test centers, but sometimes it may not be possible. So please keep an open mind that in some cases you may be required to travel outside the city, state, or even your country. Right? So once you book your centers, a week before the examination, Pearson will also send you a confirmation of the time, location, and all your requirements of the examination, what you require to bring to the center. So you must also make sure that you take two kinds of your IDs to the center. Two IDs are important. Lot of candidates, I mean, not like a lot, but yes, there have been cases where the candidates' IDs were not suitable or authorized, were not from the list. So make sure you take either your two forms of primary ID or one primary and one secondary. It must have your picture. So that's why please go to what kind of your IDs are valid for the examination under the links that are provided here. So there are also rules and agreements that you would be required to follow and sign. Please go through the candidates' rules in this agreement. The link also has been shared here. Then what are the types of IDs that will be accepted are under the handbook. You must read the handbook before you start the examination process also. So all the important links I have added under the same presentation, and it would be uploaded to our free monthly mentorship program. You can get access to our free monthly mentorship program through our LMS and app. My team would also share the link to the LMS and app on the chat today during the session. The same link to the LMS and the app is also regularly shared on our Facebook group. So make sure everything that you desire to know about the ADC, the upcoming weekly free sessions, the free mocks, everything is shared on our Facebook group. So please join the Facebook group if you haven't joined yet, because that's where the most information would be shared with you. Then once you have received your written examination result, it would be also announced on your ADC Connect profile, and that is usually released 6 weeks after. So after you've taken the exam, mostly approximately within 5 to 6 weeks, you can expect the results. Now, there are 4 grades on which the ADC gives you the results. Grades are from A to D, where A and B grade are your pass grades, C and D grades are your fail grades. There is no specification on the handbook or any other source that what score gives you what grade. So nobody can guarantee you what score would mean that. Most likely, all these countries' licensing examinations usually score the candidates based on the percentile. Requirement of the dentists in every country change every year. Do not think that every country will take certain number of candidates every year. Every country evaluates the requirement based on their entire socio-economic situation that year, and we must respect that process and understand that the passing rates will change, right? And the countries have their different criterias, how they evaluate and how they assess what number of intake of the overseas dentists they do require in their nation. So based on that, the passing rates change. There are a lot of variables, there are a lot of factors which can affect the passing rates every year, which are not in your hand, which are not in anyone's hand, and that's a very one variable that nobody can control. So best is to not again fret about the situations that you cannot control. I'm sure everybody agrees with the fact something that you have no control over is better be left, not to be stressed about. What you can really work about and what is a controllable variable here is to be in the top percentiles as much as possible. That's what I train you for. That's what I teach in my program also, that you can't control. But usually, if you see the past year's records from the last 10 years, the passing rates change from anywhere from 20% to 40%. And in certain cases, in like maybe once in 3 years and once in 4 years, passing rates declined and have declined to even 10%. So that has happened in the September 24 examination, and I'm sure you must have heard about that. The passing rates were really low. But that's once in few years that they really limit the intake of the candidates. But that again is controlled and decided based on a lot of factors that they must consider before they allow the overseas dentists come into their country and start practicing. Again, as I said, not a controllable variable. Do not worry about it. What you can really control is if the passing rate goes from 25% to 40%, to try and be in the top 20% at least, or at least top 25%. So the 75th percentile would make it, right? So if you're in up to 75th percentile, that is in the top 25% cream of the entire candidates who are taking the examination, your chances of passing the examination are highly likely. I'm sure I'm giving you a complete mental reality picture here. Before you start your journey, before you start this process, it's best to have a reality check and then try to achieve the best that you can and be in the top 20%, top 25%, and nobody can stop you. So all these changing passing rates and how much candidates are cleared, these are all unspecific worries. The only thing that you must worry and especially focus on with discipline is to get in the top cream of the candidates. So the format of examination is that this examination, the written examination, is conducted over the 2 day period. And over 2 days also, it would be on the first half and then the second half. And then you have a 2 hour break in between. So first day you would have first section and then second section. In between you have a rest break. Similarly, the same second day, section 3, section 4, in between you have a 2-hour rest break. Each section has 70 questions. This format is an exact format on which I take my ADC grand mock. Now, we usually release our grand mock around 3 to 4 weeks before the examination for the reason that you must take the exact examination style experience at least 3 to 4 weeks before exam, because again it's an exhaustive experience when I make you go through all these 280 questions over the period of 2 days. Your brain gets exhausted. It requires energy, focus, dedication. And then I want you to recuperate from that exhaustion and then be ready for the marathon that you will run again on the actual exam day. But this practice, which we conduct 3 to 4 weeks before the examination, immediately gives you an insight where you stand in the cohort. So if you have hundreds of candidates on Winspurt along with you, taking the examination with you, we will provide you the distribution of the scores information also, what your cohort is scoring, where is your score, what are the rest of the candidates are scoring. So immediately you will get to see your own percentile, and that will immediately give you a reflection of how to expect and what to expect on the examination day. Another reason to keep this gap is that first it helps you with the recovery and get fresh for the examination. And the second reason, all the mistakes that you do in your grand mock, that you can work upon your mistakes, analyze your mistakes, and fix them before it's too late. So I give you enough time period also where you can work on yourself, work on your mistakes, and make sure you don't replicate them or repeat them on the examination day. You will see when do you get the brain freeze, when do you get the fogginess, what is your challenges. Time management is your challenge, because I give you 70 questions for 2 hours. Then I give you the second section quiz, again 70 questions for 2 hours. Then the next day, you will be getting a section 3 quiz. Then you will get a section 4 quiz. You will immediately see that if you take this pattern of attempting the questions, what are your challenges in soft skills and what are your challenges in the concepts and knowledge and the hard skills, right? So both ways you will get to assess yourself when you take the Winspurt Grand Mock. So this is one wonderful practice and an exercise that makes it a stand apart, that this is how we assure that this is your specific skill, which will make sure that you make as minimum mistakes as possible in the examination. And we will lead you to that grand mock, experience. It won't happen just suddenly a grand mock is given to you, because we will provide you every week a short quiz, a short mock, which would slowly build up your stamina, which will slowly develop your skill, which will help you analyze your mistakes, and then you go to the grand mock, right? There are no daily mocks ratio, that would be too much. The weekly mocks are they are not in the entire 70 question pattern, because I want to build your stamina, right? Like if you want to run a marathon, you would slowly start daily running, right? So consider my weekly mocks as your practice for the marathon that you have to run on the examination day. So I'll just come to that in few slides ahead. I'll show you all the mocks that you would be provided before the grand mock, right? So we'll come to that. So your examination, all the questions, all the 4 sections, they are mix up of all the subjects. So gone are the days when you used to prepare for ADC paper wise. Please don't even use that term paper wise. It's obsolete. It's so gone era. It doesn't apply to the examination. It is not the recent terminology that ADC uses. All the terminologies which are contemporary and latest, you must be aware of that. So there is nothing called paper-wise preparation. First of all, there is discipline-wise preparation or subject-wise preparation, because there are 9 to 10 different subjects, all the disciplines of dentistry which are asked. So they are your disciplines or subjects which are mixed together, and every section 1, 2, 3, and 4 would have the questions from all the disciplines combined. Some of the SBQs even have multiple disciplines asked in the same scenario, right? So there are very blurry lines between what category each SBQ belongs in. It can have a prosthodontic challenge, but it can also have the underlying medical condition, and that's why it can be a general medicine and your prosto discipline. Then you can have a periodontal problem coming from an operative situation or a faulty restoration. So that discipline comes with your, operative and perio combination. So multiple disciplines are mixed together, and all the disciplines are covered under each section. And each SBQ would have 4 clusters question. So when I create my ultimate advanced file, like this would be part of your program where you would be given these ultimate advanced file and mega master file, which are accumulation of more than 3,000 individual questions under each SBQ combined, and that would expose you to the maximum scenarios which are possible for the examination. And those files are also divided subject wise so that you can, when you take the mocks and when you want to focus on individual subject, you know what part to go and where to find individual subject. So each SBQ has 4 clusters. If you go to my Facebook page, I have taken the class on individual cluster, what is covered in each cluster. And I'm sure all of you are interested in knowing that. Is that right or wrong? That what is asked under these clusters? Yes, everybody talks about cluster this, cluster that, but what it exactly means to be asked this cluster question. What is a professionalism question? What is a health promotion question? What is clinical information gathering cluster? What is your diagnosis and management planning type of question? Or what is your treatment and evaluation cluster? So when you get my advanced file, you also get, I mark after each question which cluster it belongs to. So you will also get the classes which will explain and break down all the clusters separately, which will give you in-depth understanding what is included in each cluster. Plus, when you do my practice files, which are ultimate advanced file classes of your past examination collection of SBQs, under each question, SBQ and a sub question, I have marked what cluster is actually asked in this question. Why is it important? Especially it is important if you're taking the second attempt or the third attempt, and if there is one particular cluster that you're failing. We sometimes get stuck with one cluster and we don't know why it's getting. Unless you're aware of your problem, how are you planning to fix it? That is why if you know that which cluster it belongs to, you would be able to work on it. And a very wonderful feature which is coming for the September course as part of the Windspurt program is that you will be getting 4 cluster-wise quizzes. So what you'll do, if there are certain people who want to work on specific clusters, after you have taken all the mocks, we will create and segregate the questions cluster-wise also. So suppose you want to work on your information gathering cluster, or you think that you have been, failing repeatedly in your information gathering or your treatment and evaluation cluster, you can particularly focus on that quiz and see what are your grades, what are your scores, and where the cohort lies. What are the score distribution? What is your percentile in that cluster? So we are trying to bring the features on the program. First of all, with Winsport, I always focus, and when my with my team also, when we add more features to the program, our focus is always on the two things: the qualitative growth of our candidates and the quantitative growth of our candidates. Qualitative growth happens when the more concepts are provided to you, right? Sorry, quantitative growth is by providing you more resources to study. Like we give you better files, we give you better notes, we give you more mocks, we give you more classes on the recent articles. So that's how the quantity of the course or the quantity of the material is provided to you. But at Winspur, we also focus on the qualitative enhancement, which is the soft skill enhancement of our candidates. That happens by, giving the features of score distribution, giving your constant feedbacks, giving you what your score means. Because every time you send me a score, we provide you a feedback that what was the difficulty level of that particular quiz, where you should must or score to be getting an A grade or a B grade for that particular level of difficulty. So the qualitative growth also is included as a part of the program. So we keep bringing you the tools which would enhance your performance, not just by giving you information, because I can feed you with information daily basis, right? There is so much, there are so many articles, there are so much information already there, so many textbooks. I can continue to take classes and classes and classes. But tell me one thing, unless you're scoring 80%, 85%, 90%, 95% on my ultimate advanced file or mega master or my grand mocks or the weekly mocks, would my classes and all that information be any use if you are not scoring 60 or 75 plus, 80 plus in the new mocks, public mocks, or grand mock? And in your self-assessment of the Mega Master, Ultimate Advanced file, if you're not going up to 90, 95, tell me, is there any use of giving you all the concepts if you're not able to receive, absorb, and score higher on the mocks? No. My knowledge and information provided would only have meaning when it gets reflected as your high scores, because that's what I try to create and build with Winspurt. The top 25 percentile should be from here, right? So this is where I push you to be on that cream. So the more I churn you with the mocks, the more I churn you with the classes, the better your chances to be the cream of the lot. So that is why at Winspur we continue to bringing, that is why the cluster marking is there. Cluster wise quizzes would come. Every week your cluster wise quizzes evaluation will come. We will also start giving you grades based on cluster with every mock from these for the September course. So those would be your performance enhancing tools that you would be getting with the program. So all these subjects are asked in the examination, which are your basic dental subjects. And in the program, we will focus on all these subjects. For the first 8 weeks of the program, we will work on all the individual disciplines. And then we start the amalgamation and do the multidisciplinary approach and give you the repeated revisions. So by the time I think when you're in the program by week 10, your revision has already begun. So my course is 22 weeks course, but that is why with dual program or the dual course, a lot of candidates, they join me either for full 10 months, 12 months, 9 months, 8 months, totally customizable. That's the beauty of my LMS. That's the beauty of my program, that you can join either for 2 weeks or for 12 months, and you would still take away a lot to learn and apply it in the examination. Based on what time you have on a regular basis to study, choose how many months you want to join the program for. And there are all different packages and the different prices for obviously for each month, and it's a very flexible payment plan as well. So all these, so when you have a 22-week program, for the first 8 to 9 weeks, you focus on individual discipline, and then you go into that ninja mode by taking your monthly ninja mocks, and you develop your skill to take all the disciplines together in your subject wise mock examination and then ninja mock examination. Yes, I have cleared my ADC Part 1 examination, Dharmik, and that is what I coach for. I never took the Part 2 examination because my plan to move to Australia changed and I moved to Toronto and I took my Part 1 examination. If you want to see my results and the screenshot of my grades for the Part 1 examination, it's on my Facebook page. You can go there and find the screenshot of my result there that I took the examination in the year 2017 and since then started coaching for the program. My grades are there, the screenshot is there, and I never claim that I have taken the part 2 or I'm registered dentist in Australia, but I always am honest about my situation, my location, and I always will be honest about all of it. So I always claim what I have actually done. A lot of candidates in the last 8 to 9 years since I have started have asked me to start and coach them for part 2 when they have loved the way I have coached them for part 1. But I have always refused them on one ground only. If I have not taken part 2, I will not train you. Something that I have not done myself, I cannot train you for. But something that I have done and mastered and scored such high grades with, then I'm proud to say that I will never lie to any of my candidate about anything. So I did take my part 1 ADC examination. I will show you the proofs of my documentations, the initial assessments and everything if you want. But I always claim what I have actually done and don't make any false claims. So now coming to what materials you require to prepare is the therapeutic guidelines. The Odell clinical cases are a UK resource but are extremely relevant and still applicable to the ADC exam. So do not quit doing Odell cases. In my course, you will be provided only the number of cases that are exam relevant and you don't have to read the entire ODL. And especially there are two editions, the third edition and the fourth edition. So I've combined the cases from both the editions. Some cases are better in one edition and some cases are on the other. Then the infection control guidelines. I take word for word classes for ICG, therapeutic guidelines, ODEL cases. With Winsport program, you will get all these chapters taught to you. So you don't have to get yourself and read it and then get drifted in your thoughts. You will be taught all these guidelines page by page, paragraph by paragraph, sentence by sentence, and word by word in the Winsport classes. Then the trauma guidelines are also provided. Code of conduct are also provided. I take regular classes on Australian Dental Journal latest articles, not just within the program, but also as my free monthly mentorship. If you have taken my free classes, you know that I'll always bring you all the important Australian Dental Journal articles. I'm preparing for the next class and see my Australian Dental Journal references are already open. So you will always, if you would come and visit me and see my system here, you'll always find me reading only Australian Dental Journal. So then there are other clinical concepts which you may be required, which you still would require from the textbooks. But when you join the Winsport program, this step can be completely ruled out because my 1,000 question classes and my past paper classes, by using the MCQs, we have done a retrospective subject preparation. So I read a question and through that, I will train you for the concept. So this is entirely skipped when you join the program. You don't have to dive into the textbooks, whether it's Carenza, whether it's Mountain Hume, whether it's Walton, whether it's Cameron for pedo. No textbook studying requirement from your end. I have done that job for you. I have provided all the references, explanations, and breaking down of all the relevant concepts that come in examination through the ADC thousands and the past papers exam. So those questions may not be coming in the exam anymore, right? But still, the concepts in those thousands and past papers, so that is still coming as part of your SPQs. Understood? Like, don't think that thousands and past papers are standalone MCQs, so they are not getting asked. They may not be asking the standalone MCQs, but under the SVQs, thousands and past paper concepts are still relevant. Let me give out to the entire ADC community because there's a lot of confusion about that as well. right? Okay, there's this question about Amar. Let me read. Yes, whatever material that I will provide you, Amar, that would be absolutely enough. So that's why I'm saying, apart from the study plan that I give you, you don't have to go into the detailed textbook reading. Okay. Now, how many hours you require to study every day would depend upon how much of the time you have per day. So if you have less time, I would say join the dual course now and do the program for the 9 months, right? Then you can study maybe 4 to 5 hours per day. But if you join me from April, when the course will officially begin, and then you would get your at least 6 to 7 or 7 to 8 hours per day. We will also start an early bird access, which would be around March or Feb. So please keep checking our Facebook group for all the latest information. So then you will also get the combination of Mega Master file and Ultimate Advanced file, all the past year question banks. Yes, it's for the competitive advantage only, that it remains for the security of the material only, Preet. That we cannot change because it applies to everyone. So with the program, say, yeah. So the features that you will get in the program would be, so the 1,000 and the past paper classes are the core classes which would replace your textbook reading. When you start preparing any subject, 1,000 and the past paper classes, and now our most important hot notes, which are provided for each subject. So what I did was, over the last 10 years question bank, I've kind of highlighted all the crucial hot topics that ADC focuses on. After summarizing all those hot topics, we have now collected all the database on the Australian Dental Journal and the relevant articles to cover all the concepts individually. And I have accumulated information from ODEL, therapeutic guidelines on all the Australian Dental Journal articles together and put it under individual hot topic which gets asked in the exam. So in all subjects would be provided to you as hot notes, and under all subjects all the crucial topics would be there, and under all the topics the information is summarized from ODEL, from TG, from textbooks, and from the articles. So towards the end also, they will help you to summarize all these resources. And even when you start the preparation, from the September course, you will not have to read the entire articles altogether. So what used to take time for self-study was reading the articles, because in my program, I provide you more than 150 articles to read. So now these hot notes will totally replace it, because I have summarized the core information from those articles under the hot notes. So they will become your best companion throughout the process, and you just prepare the theory from the hot notes. No need to read all the articles in detail anymore. All the relevant concepts are just to be done from hot notes now. So no textbook reading, no in-depth article reading. It would be replaced by our power notes and hot notes. Hot notes since the beginning, power notes as you move along the Ultimate Advanced file, simultaneously for the revision of the Ultimate Advanced file, power notes. Power notes means all the Ultimate Advanced file SBQ question discussion, the summary of that, the concept of that has been added to the power notes, so that, but what happens is before examination students do not get time to review from the classes because they're lengthy classes, right? It makes sense that you want the crux of those classes which you can read immediately before exam. So power notes usually are the best last month tool, but hot notes would be from the day one your daily self study tool, which will totally now take over your any textbook reading or your any article reading. So for this September examination, I'm going to evolve and update the study plan and completely remove all the textbooks and all the articles. So now it's just hot notes and your classes and your mock and these three most important features, and you're done and sorted. So you have 26 mock with our course, where Individually, when you do each subject, you get 8 subject-wise mocks, then 7 therapeutic guideline mocks, 2 infection control guidelines, 2 X-ray, 1 trauma guideline mock, 5 ninja mocks. Ninja mocks comes every month. Then, as I told you, 3 to 4 weeks before examination, 1 full 2-day ADC style grand mock. And then during the period that you are enrolled with me, you will also be given 1 monthly free public mock, which will also be available to the students who are not enrolled with me. So every month there would be a free public mock. So together you would have these 26 mocks to ensure your success, the practice and the soft skill that is required. So with that, I think I've covered a lot and I provided you a lot of food for thought. Think on it, chew on it, watch the class again, go through the presentation again, because I will be uploading this on the free resources drive link. So download the app, sign up on my free monthly mentorship program, and then access the drive, and there you can go and read this presentation all over again. If you have more questions or concerns, you have my WhatsApp number. You can message me directly and you will hear from me. I'll be happy to help, give you some samples. Whatever help you need me, you got me. And any questions, even about the rumors that you hear, feel free to message me. I'm an open book, nothing to lie about and nothing to hide. I'm always here to help you. That's my priority, and that I'll continue to do. If you have any help required more than this, please follow our page and join our Facebook group. I regularly update with the information. We try to keep our classes fun, interactive, and you will find that the daily doubt support will be there. So, another important announcement for the new candidates is that a free public mock is coming this weekend, which is on Saturday. So Saturday, the Feb public mock will be released, and on the Monday public session next week, it would be the mock discussion. So the visa process and English test, you don't require the English test before the ADC examination, right? And the visa process, once you can message me on WhatsApp and we can discuss about it there, right? So you have my WhatsApp number. Please drop me a message there, and I shall help you with whatever help you may require with the visa process. Although I am not a visa expert, so I'm only a part 1 expert, and that's the only claim that I may make. Also, if God willing, I can speak something like that. But other than that, I'm not a visa expert, to be honest. Is there any age? No, there is no age time frame, Patricia. I've had candidates in their 50s and 60s who have enrolled with me and taken this examination because they wanted to move to Australia in that decade of life. Because Amar, I do not want to move to Australia. That is number one reason. And I moved to Canada and I'm here in Toronto and quite happy here. That is the reason that I couldn't do. But then the Winspurt started from the year 2017. So it's the 9th year running. And that's why it just took all my time and all my effort, and I love what I do and I'm extremely passionate. This is my full-time job. That is why I can provide you all the 24-hour support that you require. So I totally only focus on part 1. I don't want to be jack of all trades and master of none. I want to focus on one thing and do it best. That's my intention, and that's what I do. So it is required in certain cases, Dharmik, in the ADC Connect. When you make a profile, then you would find it there, right? So when you create the ADC Connect profile, then you will see that there is a option to upload the recommendation letters and the experience letters. Any more questions, guys? Please, I'm here to help you. And thank you for being so kind, and thank you for being so receptive. It's a pleasure having you and helping you, and diffuse certain confusions around the process if there were any. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.